Just remind us of the obligations that tour operators have under the current laws, under the 1992 directive.
Well, under the package tour regulations, they are liable if they fail to provide a holiday that's in accordance with local safety standards, and those regulations are there to make it easier for British holiday makers to receive compensation when something goes wrong.
But in practice, Simon, I mean, we're talking about hundreds, thousands of hotels and establishments. In practice, how easy is it for tour operators to ensure that they're up to local standards, not perhaps the standards that are here?
Well, they are obliged to meet local standards, and from my estimation, they do a pretty good job, given, as you say, the vast scale and diversity of the travel industry. I've seen, indeed, with Thomas Cook themselves, the safety audit that they carry out, which covers everything from the maintenance records of the transfer bus that takes you from the airport to the hotel, to the temperature of the fridges in the kitchens. They really are serious about people's health and happiness on holiday, but I'm afraid in this case Thomas Cook have made it look as though they're a bunch of bumbling amateurs who are just worried about the blame game and wanting to point the picture at other people.
I mean, in fairness to that, Julian Chamberlayne, it does appear that in this case, I mean, looking at the first instance of some people killed due to wrong maintenance at a hotel that you booked through Thomas Cook, it would appear to the public that Thomas Cook ought to be liable, and yet that wasn't how it worked out.
Well, yes, I agree with you. That is the way it ought to happen, but unfortunately the holiday companies do take a very defensive attitude to these claims, and where they feel they can, they will defend as much as they can, even though actually they've probably got in place, as we've seen here, contractual liabilities back against the hotel who provided...
But this, I mean, this did go to court. People were found guilty and Thomas Cook wasn't.
Yeah, they weren't in a corporate sense, but they did, of course, ultimately settle the civil claim.
And given the backlash we've seen since then, Simon, is this a turning point for the industry, do you think?
I very much hope so. I think they've got to learn from the world's safest industry globally, which is actually aviation, where there is a no-blame culture. You investigate accidents to try to stop them happening again. You're not looking at apportioning blame, and that is the best way to prevent a reoccurrence, and also I think the most meaningful way to remember the victims, by saying that this is helping us to create a safer environment for everybody.
What about the continued employment of electricians and a manager by hotel companies of people who were found responsible for these actions? I mean, does everyone who stayed in that hotel, as it were, subsequently have some kind of claim or complaint against either the hotel or the travel agent for employing someone like that?
No, I mean, it's absolutely shocking, and you would hope companies like this would actually learn from their mistakes and rectify them as soon as they've worked out what's gone wrong. But actually, no one else who stayed there subsequently is entitled to any compensation, because nothing's happened to them. There's no other victims.
I mean, of course, money doesn't bring people back, but one of the things this brought up in sharp relief is the fact that the damages that Thomas Cook got from the hotel differ quite sharply from what the families got. I mean, bereavement damages, surely there must be some more action that can be taken there.
Well, there is, and there really should be action on this, because it is quite shocking. I mean, the government sets the level of bereavement damages. It's currently £12,980. Now, that is a very low sum of money when you compare that with moderate injury claims or even libel claims. You know, it's still true that it's cheaper to maim than to kill, and it's cheaper to kill someone than it is to libel that person, and that is just wrong. Now, following the Germanwings accident, we see the German government starting to move to increase compensation there for bereaved families to €100,000. There are high awards in Scotland already, and this really is something our government ought to do something about.
I thought ABTA was sort of supposed to oversee all this and stop this sort of thing happening. Where's it been in all this?
Well, they have to. I mean, this is a terrible, tragic event, but it happened 9 years ago. We do still see, very sadly, tragedies occurring, and the travel industry is absolutely serious about dealing with them, including Thomas Cook. But my goodness me, in years to come, people will simply not understand how the proudest name in travel, Thomas Cook, could somehow turn itself into a toxic brand by dealing with the bereaved parents so badly.
Thank you.